What's up, everybody? ODC here. I got my lizard bath done. Finally, I had to bite the bullet and end up buying that stupid spider punk figure. Anyway, I actually just put it on eBay, so selling that off, the figure. I just wanted the arm. But anyway, got Dr. Octopus from GameStop, a local GameStop, a few days ago, actually a couple days ago. Let me bring my pointer in here. So I got Doc Ock from GameStop. Sorepox, what's up? What's going on, everybody? Got the lizard bath done. So happy about that. Finally, was it like, it came out like 5 months ago, I think, that wave. So that's pretty cool. Let me get some more light in here. There we go. Strawberry Fields, what's up? Howdy, partner. But yeah, so here's the lizard bath. Looks pretty good. Let me get, actually, I'll go through the lizard bath first. He looks pretty cool. He's definitely got some major flaws. I'm sure we all have seen reviews on this guy by now. If you haven't, I will point out everything anyway. But here is the bath. He can kind of stand upright, but these knees, I almost want to super glue his knees shut because these knees are just wiggling and wobbling all over the place. These knee joints are just trash. Straight up garbage knee joints. And you kind of have to have him hiked up on his toes. That's why he's got toe joints here. But, you know, I was really excited for this Build-A-Figure, but he is a pain in the rear end to stand. You kind of have to use his tail as a tripod, you know. You can't get him, and then this knee just keeps giving out. It's kind of a suck. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people don't like the head sculpt. They're like, oh, it's too Velociraptor-esque. I'm like, who cares? I don't care about the head sculpt. I think it's fine. A lot of the other people complain about the inside of the mouth being just kind of the neck joint right here. Who cares? I don't think that's big a deal either. The biggest deal is the knees. The knees are just junk. I have seen that you can, if you pop these pins out using some hot water, if you boil and pop, and you use kind of like a, needle nose pliers, you can actually pop these knees off. Hold on, let me pop the leg off. You can pop these off, and then you have to spin this around, but then the leg looks kind of weird. It does look kind of weird because I have seen the mod, but look how loose this is. I mean, how is this supposed to support weight? This is just garbage on Hasbro's part. I'm going to be honest with you. The quality of this leg is just trash. I mean, you should be able to get this leg to at least go further up than this. I'm just not feeling it. Not feeling it, man. It's cool that we got toe articulation. He kind of needs it. I mean, he can't really, he can kind of put his foot flat, but then he's shorter. He's so much shorter if you have his foot flat. Let me show you. If you have his foot completely flat, which is kind of a hard thing to get, like, look, he's kind of like, it looks like he's taking a shit or something. You know? Where's his toilet bowl? So you kind of have to have his leg hiked up and then have him on his toes. Which, if that was how he was meant to be designed, fine. But at least, you know, have some better quality control than just these shit knee joints. Like I said, I'm probably going to super glue my knee joints shut just so they don't move. Because every time I want him to be maxed out in the knee, the weight of the figure is so top heavy that it just keeps bending back, and then he becomes so much shorter. Not that I need him to be the tallest in the world. I mean, I'll bring in his comparison, but he can't fucking stand right. It's like you got to get him to do this like weird squatting thing, and then you don't even want to touch him after that. So And that is actually with his tail off the ground. It's actually not touching. Well, now it is because his knee joint just gave out. But a second ago, it wasn't touching. It's just frustrating because I really was excited about this Build-A-Figure, and I'm really kind of let down. The paint, the detail on it is great. It's just the legs just ruin it for the figure. It's like they forgot what they were doing. It's like they had everything else right, and then they like, oh, we forgot our homework today. Oh, the dog must have ate it with the knee joints. Oh well. But here is the vintage, or I shouldn't say vintage, the Toy Biz version, which is far smaller. But I mean, at least I can get him to stand on his tippy toes. Come on, stop being a dick. There we go. I can get him to stand on his tippy toes. I think he still looks the part, and his knees are fine. It's like how, in certain ways, this figure kind of does it better. I mean, the head is really small. I will give it that. The hands look good, though. The lab coat looks good. I mean, this is pretty much like a cut and paste almost here, what they were trying to redo. I like the size of him. I like the paint detail of him, and I'm going to go through all the paint detail and show you all that in a second. But, I mean, as small as this guy is, he still is within the same realm. I mean, here is... Let me get him out of the way. Here's the new Doc Ock next to him. And I don't think he's too small. So, I mean, if you don't want to spend the money on the Build-A-Figure, I would almost go after the Toy Biz one. Even though he's a little smaller, I think it's still within the realm of reason here. Because I think the Build-A-Figure Lizard is going for around 70 and up, you know? So it's like, give or take, what are you going to do here? And then you want to get his toes all the way down. So sometimes he can like get flat-footed, and then other times he can't. Like this is actually probably a pose I'm going to have to keep him in. And it's just a shame because you want to be able to have some more freedom with these knees to be able to do what you want, and it's not allowing you to. So it becomes very frustrating very quick with this figure. I love everything else but these damn knee joints, and I'm pretty sure that that's the majority of what people have had a gripe with this Build-A-Figure. But so there's the little comparison with the Toy Biz version and the Hasbro version. I'm still, well, I mean, this tail is still, I think, within, you know, it's okay. It is, I think it does have a bendy wire in it. Yeah, it does. It does have a bendy wire in it. It kind of bends, only really at one point, though. But this tail was the other issue that a lot of people had, was this tail and how it's on a hinge joint and a ball peg and a hinge joint. And then we've got ball pegs and hinge joints down here. And then we got another ball peg hinge joint over here. And the way that it's sculpted, you can technically swivel this. But once you do swivel it, it breaks up the sculpt of his, what you call it, his, what's wrong with me? His scales, excuse me. The kind of underbelly of his scales. So it kind of looks a little bit weird. I mean, you can still get away with it, but, and I don't think the hinge joints are a deal breaker. It actually helps him stand. I feel like if he had a bendy wire, it wouldn't be as strong. It wouldn't be strong enough to help him stand, is what I'm trying to say. But I don't really have the big. I mean, it does look weird when you bend it. It looks like his tail's broken, but it's not the biggest deal breaker. I just think these knee joints have almost kind of ruined this Build-A-Figure. It's just a travesty that they decided to go this route without testing these knee joints enough. And like I said, you kind of have to have him in this squatting pose to get him to stand the proper way, you know? Derek, what's up? Welcome, everybody, if you're just tuning in. I'm doing the Lizard Build-A-Figure first, and then I'm going to do Dr. Octopus second. I just did the comparison with the Toy Biz version of this, and I'm kind of just giving my overall thoughts before I go through articulation and show you all the paint detail and everything. But yeah, it's just a shame. I really wanted this to be. I was really looking forward to it. I wanted it to be a great figure. It's just kind of a meh figure. So that's a little bit of a shame, but they at least I guess they tried. I give them a C for effort, C plus for effort, or C minus actually for effort. But anyway, as far as the articulation does go, he's got a ton of articulation. His head is on a ball peg. It's not on a hinge joint, just a ball peg. His head can swivel like so, and then his head and neck are actually on separate joints because he's got an articulated jaw, upper and lower jaw, upper hinge, lower hinge. So you can get him really spread out like that. And like I said earlier, I actually don't mind the head sculpt. I think it looks pretty good. I actually enjoy this kind of dinosaur-esque. And dinosaurs were reptilian, so it makes sense, I think. I actually don't mind it, you know. And so there's the ball peg, and he can swivel. He can... ball peg can look up a little bit. Definitely no jive turkeys up in here. No... Oh, wait. We got a little bit of a neck turkey. A gobble, gobble. A gobble, gobble. Okay, just a little bit. But I really like the paintwork with this mouth. It looks really good. The tongue and everything. That tongue is epic looking. Looks great. The arm joints go up about that far on both sides, go down, full 360 rotation at the shoulder joint. He does have a bicep swivel and a double jointed elbow, which is pretty dang good. I'll be honest with you, you can touch his mouth. So he's got a swivel at the wrist, and then he's got a ball. Oh, his hand came out. It's no big deal. He does have a hinge joint, which goes back and forth. And then we have an ab crunch, which is very hindered by the coat due to the thickness of this coat. He can crunch forward that far. I know this is kind of a weird angle here, but he can crunch forward, and it kind of wants him to crunch forward all the time. He does have a waist swivel, and he's got... Whoa, I'm losing my lighting here. And he's also got legs that go forward about that far. Whoa, why is my camera not focusing? What's going on? You done, camera? You done being a dick? Okay. Legs go back about this far. Legs go forward. Does have an upper thigh swivel. A double joint knee, which is really a single joint knee that I don't even think should be a knee, really. He does have an ankle pivot, which isn't like really a true ankle pivot for this figure, at least. I feel like this figure doesn't even need an ankle pivot. I don't know, maybe it does. Yeah, it does. It definitely does, just to get him to stand properly. He does also have a toe joint, which is nice, and an ankle hinge, which points the toe, and you definitely need that ankle hinge. I will say that. But he's really loose. His legs are really loose. He just looks kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, he looks depressed. Like, oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, I can't stand. Oh, man. Oh, George. It's like kind of like Igor. Oh, I lost my tail again. Oh. But, yeah, kind of a shame with this. Yeah, this is letting me down more and more. I kind of look at it. But anyway, taking a look at the paint detail over here, if my camera will focus properly, let me get his arms out of the way. On the legs looks really good. And actually, let me pop his arms out. I get this lab coat out of the way so you guys can see everything. There we go. That is much better. I really like what they did with his skin, his scales and everything. They did a really good job with the paint shading, paint detail. The sculpt looks great. Like I said, you're either going to love or hate this tail. but I think it does serve the function of keeping him up, standing upright. He looks constipated. I know, right? I really like what they did with the torn t-shirt. That looks really nice. The sculpting of that neck and everything. Look at that. Looks really good. Close his mouth there. I really like that tongue. That looks so cool. This is what I was talking about. This is him crunching backward, and that's him all the way forward. So his ab crunch is really good. It's just that the lab coat hinders it. And once you do put the lab coat on, this lizard has no friends. Once you do put the lab coat on, see how I have him crunched all the way back here? As soon as you put the lab coat on, he wants to go to this position naturally, which isn't a big deal. Yeah, he is. Sounds lonely. He does sound lonely. Mr. Lonely, I have nobody for my own. Ooh. Here's the back of his sculpt. Looks really good, but you'll never really see that. But it is nice that they did include the sculpt on the back. Okay, moving on to the lab coat here. Lab coat looks really good. I like the bit of paint detail that they did with here. Yeah, I know. It is too bad that the coat was soft goods, but I can't blame them too much, and I usually bitch and moan when things are not soft goods. I feel like if the whole coat was, sure, but if they sculpted these arms with the lab coat, it would look kind of funky with a cloth, I don't know, semi-coat, and then with the sculpted arms, that would throw it off. But if they did a full lab coat, and they just did these arms like regular scaly arms all the way through to the shoulder joint, where the ball peg and hinge joint are, then I wouldn't have had a problem, and they could have just done a cloth lab coat. But we all know how cheap Hasbro is. They're not going to do that. They're not going to use cloth. But I really like what they did with the holes and everything on there. The overall little bit of kind of dirt going around the bottom, showing that he's not the cleanest lizard of them all. And then just kind of comparing it with the Toy Biz version, as you could see that they took a lot of cues from this Toy Biz version of Lizard. And like I said, even though this Toy Biz version is a little bit smaller, I still think it works. It definitely has better functionality than the Lizard Hasbro Build-A-Figure. You can definitely pose the Toy Biz version a lot better than the Hasbro version, which is a shame. And also, like I said, and it is part of, reviewing something. If something has better function, better form and function. Yeah, I feel like the cloth, I think it's more so not even the cloth. I just want these damn knee joints out of here. They are just atrocious. Ugh. It like just ugh. And that's it. That's all he's got. It's like, this is one of those Build-A-Figures where you just want to okay, he's posed. Now don't touch him. Because he's going to fall over, and there he goes. See? That's what I'm talking about. And over time, I mean, while it is cool that we got hinge joints here for the toe articulation, these hinge joints aren't going to be able to hold up this weight all the time. And then Tumble Me Weed, that should be his name, the Build-A-Figure, Mr. Tumbleweed here. He's just going to keep falling over and falling over, So, there's the Lizard BAF. If it's up to me, I'd say go get the Toy Biz one. I think it's cheaper, actually, than the Build-A-Figure. A lot cheaper. And you can still get him up on his toes, even though he's a little bit smaller. I think it still works. He's got an articulated mouth. If he had like a crazy tongue like this, I think that would make the figure that much better. He also does have a bendy wire for a tail, and he stands upright pretty well. Stands better than he does, a lot better. And as you can see, this is pretty much like Hasbro's version of that. So, okay, moving on to the opposite effect of what we just went through with Lizard. Get you out of there. Moving on to Mr. Dr. Octopus. Yeah? Dr. My Octopus. Mom, I gotta go see the doctor today. Which doctor? For my octopus. Okay, anyway. Badjokes.com. So here's Dr. Octopus. Here's his packaging. I don't know. I know some people like to see the packaging. Some people are like, oh, get it out of here. I don't want to see it. But there it is in case anyone wants to see it. And there's the side artwork. It's the same on the other side, so I'm not going to show the other side. There's the back. Here are the rest of the figures in the wave. Ooh, come on, iPad. I do have a couple of these other figures in this wave on the way. I'm not going to say which ones, because what's the fun in that? But there he is on the back of the card. There's his lame little read-up that I don't care to read. I'm sure you don't care to hear it. So there's the box artwork. Let's bring him back in here. And let's address the elephant in the room. Okay. We all know that the tentacles kind of suck. I just want to know, like, I would like to ask a Hasbro rep, like, whoever was like, oh, I got a really good design for these tentacles. I would just like to know, let me read that. The actual figure looks different from the back of the box. Does it? I don't think it does. Does it really? Maybe some of the paint apps are a little bit different. A little bit shinier, glossier paints here and there. But anyway, I would like to ask the Hasbro rep... Slow down. I would like to ask the Hasbro rep, why in the holy hell did you decide to bend these elbows out like this? What good does this do for this character? To have these hanging outward like this. These should be facing forward or facing inward, something like these. These are facing inward. I don't really have an issue with these. They're a little bit on the short side. They're definitely not nearly as long as the uppers, which doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. And you decided to give them articulated ball joints right here, but why is this not a bendy wire? What is going on here today? Who designed this? Why you do this? But anyway, I would just like to ask them, like, what were you thinking that day? Were you like, ooh, yeah, it's a really good idea. We'll bend them, make them out of plastic, and then we'll bend them like this and have them facing outward. Like, why would he have these facing outward at all? Remotely. I don't get the design thought process here. Does he have villains on his side all the time? I don't quite understand. Or heroes on his side attacking him? I said villains. Well, to him, it would be a villain. These I don't have too much of a problem with because you can kind of work with these a little bit. You can kind of use some hot water, cold water, and manipulate these. These, I tried using hot water and cold water on these. Does not work. Nope. Okay. So, anyway, that's the elephant in the room. Everything else I want to say with the figure is very well done. We got a new body mold here, which I'm expecting them to use this body mold for a Marvel Legends X-Men Toad figure. That's what my thought process is with this body mold right here. We haven't gotten a Toad since Series 1 of Toy Biz Marvel Legends. And that Toad sucks if you've had it. And I have, and I sold it. But this should definitely be Toad, this body mold right here. Taking a look at the Elton John face that we have here. Looks pretty good. the sunglasses are removable. Well, they're not removable, but you can move them up to see his eyeballs. So there you go. Elton John. What happened to you, Elton? Saw you in The Kingsman 2, and now look what you've done to yourself. Giving yourself plastic arms that can't do anything. All right, so I did originally have the good Doc Ock, the Toy Biz Doc Ock, which is pretty much almost the same thing as this, just a little bit scaled down, and it's obviously it's a Toy Biz version of it. I had that. I actually ended up selling it for like $100 to a local collector. So I don't have that version anymore. I wish I did, because I would use those arms with this, because you can actually plug them right into the back of these ports right here. So if you do happen to have the good Doc Ock, from there you can use those arms to plug into the back of these. Now, the only other Doc Ock that I do have is by far way worse than this figure. This figure's not bad. It's not a bad figure, it's just the arms suck. The figure, like I said, the figure itself looks great. So we'll do a little comparison here. This Doc Ock is, oh boy, is it a garbage shit show. This thing right here. Ugh. This guy can't stand for shit. His legs are constantly sticking out like this. I have to hold him up because he's got a whole mess of arms going on in the back. Let me just get him out of here. I mean, ugh. 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 Yeah, I don't like this Dr. Octopus. I don't know why I even own it. I think he was like $10, and look how beat up he is. It's like a small child threw him up against the wall. But I think I actually got this at a garage sale. That's probably why I was like, oh, $10 or $5 or whatever the hell it was. Yeah, this is a really old one. This was actually from the box set, I believe. So, not feeling it. I don't mind the lab coat. I mean, he's way too small. He's like, look at this Doc Ock. This is how tall he should be. Look how small. It's like he had a child, and this is his child. Dad, you told me I wouldn't be born with these arms. Shut up, damn it! I'm going to play a song. But Elton Senior, this is Elton Junior. Okay. Anyway. But yeah, this is garbage. Don't ever buy this figure, ever. Like ever. Okay, so there's that. You cannot use these arms either because they have these. I mean, I could shave the nubs off the back, but these arms aren't the best bendy wire arms, and I'll just call them the claws here. They don't look very menacing. This figure just kind of blows. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just a big bunch of shit, is what it is. Big old pile of poo. So he runs a little bit smaller. I'm probably, with these arms not doing anything, I thought I could. I was originally talking to Automatica, my friend Olivia, about this, and I was like, you know what? I'll use some hot water, cold water, and maybe I can get these elbows to kind of bend the other way. Nope. Don't even try it, because it's not going to work. So I'm definitely going to have to get some, go the Craig Warwick route and customize this guy and get some actual bendy wire from one of those like USB lamps. I think I might have one. Here. Let me go check. Oh, there it is. Come on, piss off. Shove off. Alright, so what you want to use is some material like this with these nice bendy wires, and they're actually a lot lighter than the plastic ones and more rigid, sturdier. It doesn't take as much space up. I'm not saying go out and grab this specific one. You should definitely go check out Craig Warwick's YouTube video, and hopefully we get a new Doc Ock with bendy arms. I don't know if I'd hold my breath on that one, but yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to do that. They just released this guy. Maybe they might do one with like a lab coat down the road with some long hair, kind of like more of like a modern look. But yeah, I can't see them spending the extra cash. That's why I'm gonna tell you this right now. That's why I feel like this wave, this should have been the Build-A-Figure in this wave. He should have been the Build-A-Figure. It would have made so much more sense instead of having this stupid spider robot that, I mean, how many people are clamoring for this SPDR robot? I'm going to be honest with you. You guys know I'm not a big Spider-Man fan. I'm more of a fan of his villains. That's why I got Doc Ock. But let me just put this in perspective for you, okay? Instead of having... Let's just see. What could we do here? Okay, here's an easy fix. Instead of having Typhoid Mary in the Venom wave, how about we do this? Doc Ock is the Build-A-Figure. You put Typhoid Mary in front of Doc Ock's spot. This way it makes sense because Typhoid Mary is a villain of who? Oh, this guy that's in the wave 2, Daredevil. So then you've got Typhoid Mary, Daredevil, Cloak, Dagger. You could have your 2 Spider-Men, your House of M and your Scarlet Spider. And then you've got Elektra, call it a day. And then, I guarantee it, they would have given you bendy wires because the Build-A-Figures require a little bit more funding. So, you would have got bendy wires if you would have got him as a Build-A-Figure, I guarantee it. So, there's that. Think about that. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. But anyway, here he is. You can detach these out of his back here. Other than the crap articulation that's in the arms, he is pretty well articulated as far as the figure goes. His head can swivel full 360. He can look up. There we go. Come on, Elton. Come on, Elton. Work with me here. There we go. Up and down. And we got some jive turkeys. Oh, we got a little jive turkey. Okay, there's the jive turkeys. Arms go up very nicely. Down, full 360 rotation there. He's got a bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow, which a little bit more than 90 degrees there. Swivel at the wrist, hinge joint. He does have a really good ab crunch that goes back and forward nicely. So really good range of motion there. Really happy with that. And it does go side to side nicely. And you can also swivel that. So no waist swivel though. So you do have a diaphragm joint, but there's so much good articulation and range of motion within this diaphragm joint that you really don't need the waist swivel at all. Look at those splits. That's probably some of the best splits I've ever seen out of Hasbro. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's got more range of motion than the Pizza Spidey. How does Doc Ock have more range of motion than a Spider-Man figure? What is going on here? Anyway, I digress. Legs go forward nicely. They don't really go back. This is kind of neutral right here, and that's maxed out back due to the sculpting of his big old booty. He's got a thigh swivel, double jointed knees. He does have a boot swivel, which is nice. Ankle hinge. Come on, work with me. I have seen people kind of max this ankle hinge out, but you kind of have to get it over the sculpting. But there you go. He points the toe nicely. And we've got ankle pivot. And he's got 2 peg holes at the bottom of his feet. So there is Doc Ock. Really good range of motion, really good articulation. It's just a shame we didn't get that with the arms. What the hell's going on? Why you do this? As I always say. The cool thing is that you can mix and match these. So if you want to have these going up like that, like I said, you can manipulate these shorter arms a little bit better than the longer arms. So if you want to use some hot water, cold water on that, you can. Sometimes what I like to do is just to shorten these long arms up, I'll put these at the top and aim them down, or I'll swap them on the other side, like so. And then I'll crisscross them. Crisscross will make you jump, jump. A daddy Mac will make you jump. Sorry. And then I'll do some of this right here. Do that. And then we'll do this right here. And then we kind of just go with, whoa, what's going on here? There we go. And then we'll kind of make them a little bit shorter. Like that. It's kind of a tangled mess in the back, but you can't really see it. It does make him a little bit back heavy. But if you get the sweet spot, it doesn't look as bad, I don't think. Maybe bring these up more. Yeah, it kind of looks like shit. Yeah, I have seen the people using the Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2 to use the claws for the custom, but and that does work, so you can definitely go that route. So that does work. But yeah, he's got his issues. He's Mr. Issues. I actually like him like this to save shelf space as far as figures. I actually kind of like him having him like this, kind of like the back of the card art. I don't mind that. So yeah, I don't know. Jury's kind of out on these two. Well, jury's not out. The jury's in, and they're going to make their decision right now. Which Doc Ock do I like from the animated series Doc Ock or Spider-Man 2 Doc Ock? I always prefer animation over live action. That's just me. I always do. Oh, come on. Everybody's falling over. You're starting to annoy me. Okay, there we go. That's what I do. That's what I do. I sing to myself when I'm posing figures and such. But anyway, so my final rating for the Build-A-Figure is a half a thumb. I'm going to give it a half a thumb. No, I'll give it a thumb. I'll give it a 1 thumb. The knee joints are atrocious. The tail, which is actually up in the air right now, I can't believe it. And just to show you, but he's leaning forward and kind of looks like shit. Anyway, I'll give him a 1 thumb. You son of a beach. I'll give him a 1 thumb. Over time, this is gonna become an issue with this figure, especially with these poor hinge joints in the foot. He does like to fall over a lot, like as you've seen in the review. So I'll give him a 1 thumb. Doc Ock, ugh. I really like the figure itself. It's these claws suck, and once you get the right claws in, he's definitely a 2 thumbs up. So I'm gonna give him a 1.5 thumbs. So how do I thumb and a half a thumb? There we go. It's just so it got chopped off this thumb at right there. So so 1.5 thumbs because you just need to fix the claws, and then he's a 2 thumber, and then 1 thumb for him. So I think that's kind of accurate for these two. They're both kind of it's like, I really want to like you. I really, really do. And I really want to like you because you look really good. But the functionality is not there with both of them. So that's where I gotta be honest here. Gotta be honest. So be honest with yourselves. Pointing at you now. Be honest with your figures. I'm still definitely going to probably use him in my display just because I really do like his size, the mass of him. He is a beast of a figure. One more thing I wanted to note is that while I did talk about the mod that you can do to these knees, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, it ends up flipping this thigh joint around and it looks really weird. And then on top of that, he's standing entirely too tall. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't fix this situation. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to do some super gluing. Hopefully that this knee joint will lock up and it won't move and he'll be standing the way I need him to. He is still flat-footed right now, and the tail is actually on the ground now. And that's kind of how you have to have him. He's a tripod, which sucks. you want a bipod at the end of the day. I will say that his weight distribution is a little bit off. It's not as back heavy as that other Doc Ock I showed you earlier, but I feel like once you get those custom bendy wires in there, and like I said, go check out Craig Warwick's customizing live video that he did with his bendy wire arms for the new Doc Ock, and that will help you and save you a lot of money and a lot of pain and suffering trying to do it yourself without knowing how to do it. But once you get the bendy wires done, he's like a great figure. It's just that these should have been bendy, and they're just not. So that's the unfortunate truth. That's the brutal truth. I'm going on 40 minutes here, so I'm going to cut it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Give me a thumbs down if you do. If you don't like it, but let me know how I can improve my content, and let me know what you didn't like about the video. Yeah. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the flip side.